Everybody. Today we are going to study nuclear physics, and basically we are going to study about the alpha decay, and this is lecture 1. First question is, how do unstable particles achieve stability? We know that when we talk about nuclear physics, we talk about stability and all. Then there is a certain combination of protons and neutron number which favors stability. Like if you have an element with even z and even n, then that has higher stability. But if you have with odd z and odd n, that particular element has the least stability, that is unstable. Or with elements with even z and odd n, or odd z and even n, they have intermediate stability. Some nuclei have a combination of protons and neutrons which do not lead to a stable configuration, and these nuclei are therefore they are known as unstable nuclei, or we call them as a radioactive nuclei also. Unstable nuclei, they may emit alpha particle, beta particle, gamma particle, or some proton, neutron, anything, and they will try to achieve a stability. Now when so as to achieve stability, the atom, it will release the alpha particles. Then that particular process, it is called as alpha decay. Now let us talk about alpha particles. So alpha particles, they are positively charged particles. They are emitted by a radioactive nucleus. It is nothing but the helium nucleus. So it has two protons and two neutrons. And the process of alpha decay can be written as, we have a parent atom M with atomic number Z and atomic mass number A. Then that gives us a daughter nucleus. Daughter nucleus with charge less than 2 units and atomic mass number less than 4 units, and an alpha particles. We have a parent nucleus emitting alpha particle and giving a daughter nucleus. Now whenever this alpha decay process happens, there are certain conservation laws which are obeyed by alpha decay. So what are those conservation laws? First is conservation of charge and the number of nucleons. So in alpha decay, we have seen this reaction just now. Total charge and total number of nucleons should be conserved. Now here we have atomic number Z. On the right hand side, if we will check, atomic number is Z minus 2 plus 2. So that becomes Z. So on both the sides, charge is conserved. Now look at the atomic mass number. Here atomic mass number is A. Here it is A minus 4 plus 4. So A minus 4 plus 4, that also becomes A. So on both these sides, number of nucleons. A, it is atomic mass number, which is nothing but the sum of protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons together in a nucleus, they are called as nucleons. So we know that on atomic mass number, it gives the number of nucleons. So in alpha decay process, charge is conserved and number of nucleons, it is also conserved. Second is conservation of linear momentum. So the linear momentum must also be conserved in the emission of alpha particle. If the parent nucleus, it has mass mp and it is at rest, then initial momentum will be equals to 0, because we know that momentum, it is given by the formula mass into velocity. If the parent, it is at rest, its velocity will be 0, so its momentum will be 0. That is how we are getting initial momentum equals to 0. If the daughter nucleus has mass md, velocity vd, alpha particle has mass m alpha, velocity v alpha, then final momentum will be md vd plus m alpha v alpha. Now we know that for the conservation of linear momentum, initial momentum equals to final momentum. Initial momentum is 0, which is equals to final momentum, that is md vd plus m alpha v alpha. We will shift one term to the RHS, we will get this. M alpha v alpha equals to md vd. What does it indicate? The daughter nucleus must have a velocity in a direction opposite to that in which the alpha particle is ejected. Third is conservation of mass and energy. So if E is the energy with which the alpha particle is ejected and ED is the kinetic energy of the daughter, then according to principle of conservation of mass and energy, we have this expression. Now how we are getting this expression? We know that total energy, it is the sum of rest mass energy and kinetic energy. Now, so on the LHS, we have about parent. So rest mass energy of parent plus its kinetic energy. Now we have assumed that parent nucleus, it is at rest, so it will not have any kinetic energy. That is how it will have only rest mass energy, which is given by mpc square. And on the RHS, we will have rest mass of daughter nucleus, its kinetic energy, rest mass of alpha particle, and its kinetic energy. So that is how we get this equation. Now, what are the energetics of spontaneous alpha decay? The total energy change for alpha decay, it is known as alpha disintegration energy. Now, it is assumed that parent nucleus, it is at rest. When an alpha particle is emitted, the product nucleus recoils, carrying with it a certain amount of energy. And the principle of conservation of momentum requires that m into capital V, that is mass of the nucleus and its velocity before the ejection of alpha particle, that should be equals to after. So where m is the mass of the product nucleus, V is its velocity, m is the mass of the alpha particle, and V is its velocity. So once the alpha particle is emitted, after that product nucleus and alpha particle, they should have a momentum equal and in opposite direction. So the alpha disintegration energy E dash alpha, or it is also called as its Q value, it is nothing but the sum of kinetic energy of product nucleus and the alpha particle. So we have E dash alpha, which is the alpha disintegration energy. It is the sum of half mv square, that is the kinetic energy of product nucleus, half m alpha v alpha square, which is the kinetic energy of alpha particle. This is nothing but we can write it as a Q also. Now we know that mv, momentum of the product nucleus, it is equals to momentum of the alpha particle. So capital mv equals to m alpha v alpha. So from this we can calculate capital V, which is equals to m alpha v alpha upon m, and we will substitute this value of V in this equation. So we will get E dash alpha equals to half m V square will be replaced by this m alpha v alpha upon m square plus half m alpha v alpha square. So if you take E alpha common, we will get E dash alpha equals to E alpha into m alpha upon m plus 1. We know that mass of alpha particle, it is 4, and capital M will be mass of atomic mass number of the product nucleus. So we have E dash alpha equals to E alpha 4 upon A plus 1. This formula is very, very important. This will be required while solving the problems based on the decay scheme and all. Where E alpha equals to so for large values of atomic mass number, alpha disintegration energy, it is not approximately equals to its kinetic energy. That means you can say that for large values of atomic mass numbers, alpha particle carries most of the disintegration energy. Thank you so much.